Welcome to the episode number 2 of the Strictly Business podcast show. And today I'm going to be interviewing myself. So I really wanted to do a podcast officially on my story. So I started the podcast because I really wanted to get a little bit, like some people don't really know why I started the new Strictly Business podcast, and I really love to understand and learn about why people start businesses. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to at least tell my story about why I started my business and exactly sort of accidentally falling into it. So it was never really done with the intention of, let's start a business because, I want to make a lot of money, or let's start a bit because when I was a kid, I wanted to have a lemonade stand. No, man, I just wanted to start a business because I actually wanted to do something without the restrictions of others telling me, hey, you need to be this way. You better not have 1 hour phone calls because that's not good for us. I just wanted to be able to do things my way, and I guess that's sort of why I love businesses the way I do, why I set it up. When I left my agency I actually resigned in August 2011, and I submitted my resignation. I didn't really know what I was going to do at that point. I'm not going to pretend like, I was going to start a business. It took about 4 or 5 months and a lot of discussions with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, saying, why don't you give it a go? Why don't you give it a shot? It might be something that works out. And I sort of didn't know the day or the moment when I went, it makes sense starting a business. I was very unprepared. I didn't even know what a business plan was. I didn't know what a profit loss statement was. When I started the business, I thought I had to charge GST. I didn't know, I didn't even have to charge GST unless you registered. But my accountant obviously took care of that in 2012. So I didn't know exactly what I was doing. And when I look back, I probably should have done a business degree. I should have done something where, it gave me the opportunity to sort of learn at least the basics before starting. And I sort of recommend that to most people, if you are going to start a business, So my story was, I wanted to basically put my DNA into Amiga Digital. I really just didn't want to be like another digital agency. I really believed in the exclusivity. I was actually, providing that exclusivity to one of my longest serving clients anyway, but I wasn't telling the world, we believe we're going to do it this way. And originally we set up the business under APG Web Studios because in 2012 I couldn't work on SEO for competitors. I had a non-compete clause, so the only SEO I could ever do was on my own website. I couldn't actually do SEO and even sell SEO services in 2012. So I was sort of working on it myself and my own company, and just doing web design just to get the money. And web design is sort of something that I knew and that I started in 2007. I got my diploma in it, and so I've always loved web design, web development. I just never really thought that it was really going to take off. And in 2008, when I was working, and I've already discussed sort of me personally, so I won't go too much into that, but 2008, I sort of started building websites. Actually, no, sorry, 2007, I started building websites for another company. And then I just sort of stumbled on SEO when my boss sort of forced me to change titles and descriptions in a certain way. I'm like, why can't homepage just have the title home? What does it need? All this other jargon that's happening here. So learning the basics of SEO and then sort of applying for a job for a web design role in 2008. And then the business owner told me that, you've got the job, But the bad news is we officially made the decision that we're going to move away from web design and do SEO full time. And I sort of knew a little bit about it. And I remember in the interview I showed who would eventually be my manager, this is this is the work that my boss sort of forced me to do and things like that. And it was funny because they all looked at it going, "No, that's terrible SEO." So getting into SEO full time, 2008, working for an agency all the way up until the end of 2011 when I resigned in August, but I continued throughout the time. So when I started APG, it was very much web design, and then in 2013 we were able to completely transition into SEO, and that's obviously when the business started, making more stable income. The reason that I wanted to focus primarily on SEO and exclusivity was because I thought in my time up until that point, clients would ask these questions like, how can you have two lawyers trying to rank first for Lawyers Sydney? And so I thought, you know what, that makes total, and that just makes sense. And so there's that aspect, and therefore I don't want to talk badly about the agency I was working for, but some of the questions, some of the answers that they had, they just didn't sit well with me. So I started no, if I'm going to start this agency full time, I'm going to make sure that exclusivity, no contracts, and a small client base is going to be the essence of Amiga Digital, and that's where I transitioned away from APG into Amiga Digital. So around, I believe, 2015. So we moved into that new business name, not only because I like it, but because we would focus on SEO, content marketing, and that would be the business model. And I thought keeping APG Web Studios was just not the name that I wanted to take forward, and that Amiga Digital would provide, I guess, a new chapter in the journey where that would be front and center. And so every time I talk to clients, and I really push the fact that whole exclusivity is just, and the small client base and the no contracts, it's just basically my values and my own convictions just manifested into a business model. And so I always thought this is the right way to run an agency. This is how we're different. I don't necessarily think that alone makes us better than anybody else, but I definitely think that it tells clients that we're not looking to have super amounts of clients. We really just want to have small to medium amounts of clients where we can actually deliver a top quality service that they're not going to find anywhere else, especially I believe in Australia. Deliver a customer service, therefore, that we are able to do is just on another level, because that's the model. And we've got cons because we don't have the opportunity to work with like 10 jewelers. So if we sort of get amazing results for one web designer, and we get them on the first page, other web designers are going to want to just naturally come to you and just be like, no, I can't. So I guess that's sort of the cons of the business model, but I had to stay true to what I believed. And so Amiga Digital was born out of the fact that this is the direction that I wanted to take the business. And I understand that I'm not a great CEO. I don't have that sort of, let's sort of have the lemonade stands and all the rest of it, but I just wanted the opportunity to just be a marketer, that I could work with top CEOs. I knew that that's identifying the ideal client is another key strength of ours. If I have any hesitation that I think, this is not a great entrepreneur, then I know that it's not going to work out. And identifying personality, identifying sort of the current business journey to date, why they started, it's all fundamental in who I work with. The why is huge. Their credentials is huge. A proven track record as a business owner is huge. Because when you want to get things done on a high level, when content marketing is at the pinnacle of everything that you do, telling stories, and so our approach to SEO is really unique in the fact that we love looking at the story of each of our clients. So understanding their story and how they do things differently goes hand in hand with the exclusivity. And because we're exclusive, it also makes us more accountable to who we work with. We want to make sure that this is going to be a great business, because if other clients ring up and say they want to work with us, we just tell them no. And we're no longer working with a jeweler at the moment. And so other jewelers found out about that and wanted to chat with us now, because that position is now open in Omega. And so exclusivity and the fact that we want to identify who we can actually work with so we can build a decade-long and more partnership and relationship is just paramount. I think they just go hand in hand. I think that trust is set right at the start, So we believe in you and they believe in us. And that's how any relationship fundamentally has to work. And because we have to understand how does their business set apart from everybody else. So are they just like, oh great, you're a builder, awesome. So tell us about how you build your homes. Why are you different than any other builder? There's so many builders now building homes, whatever. How do you stand out in the marketplace? And so understanding that has been sort of fundamental into knowing who we can work with and who we can't. You're an accountant, awesome. So you churn out the numbers, but do you have a story that we can actually sell? And I think marketers, and it doesn't matter whether it's SEO or social media, marketers can't turn it into gold. We can only take a business that is literally gold, but just not enough people know about it. And so people just want to therefore tell that story and get that translated into a proper SEO strategy that people are going to stumble on. They're going to want to build work with them because we've told the story, we've built the trust and the credibility. I think the more a CEO, an entrepreneur understands how they're different, it just helps with the success long term, because all of the sort of content marketing strategy we will develop is on the back of understanding their actual business. So with another client, the one-on-one with the jewelers was so huge. So introducing the proposal stories and making the clients the customers front and center, because every business has to realize that when you ask a business, what do you do? They always tell you what they do from a micro level. So if you're a builder, it's like, what do you do? Oh, we build homes. No, you don't. I mean, yes, you do, and no, you don't. Because if all you do is build homes, then what does that mean? And so same thing with the jeweler. So what do you do? Oh, we make jewelry. No, you don't. You actually build memories and create incredible experiences that you're going to remember forever. This is and the good thing about the jewelry industry, it's such an emotionally charged industry. So with the building. So if you get a builder, it's like, this could be someone's first home. How exciting is that? So you're creating experiences, and actually what you're really doing is making dreams come true. And so when you think about it on a big level like that, and you do get a little bit romantic, but from the customer point of view, because I've already talked about this, like getting too romantic about the brand that you are rather than actually what your brand does for everybody else can be a trap. Do not get too romantic about who Omega Digital is. What I'm more romantic about is, what do I do for a living? I build businesses and change lives. Because if a business is building, the people inside are happy, everyone is happy, they can employ more people. I'm creating incredible, I'm changing lives for the better, and I'm building the Australian economy. That's how I see it. Not just, I got an SEO campaign, So, when businesses can start thinking on a more deeper level, that knowing how to translate that into an incredible story and then translate that story into an incredible SEO strategy, is actually going to build brand. And at the end of the day, as an online marketer, I don't want to get too romantic even about the SEO. What I want to get romantic about is building that brand. I want to make sure that through SEO, through social media, through content marketing, we transition to whatever's going to come tomorrow. So I always tell clients, I got asked, What do you think that is? SEO is such an incredibly important strategy. Or do you think SEO is still super valuable? And it doesn't matter how you phrase it. That was more or less the question. And I said, absolutely. But even if it doesn't become valuable tomorrow, what are we doing? We want to actually tell your story. We actually want to help your business grow on this platform. And so when it's easier to transition a brand from what's here today to what's going to come tomorrow, it's far easier to transition when you've already built the brand on the existing tools. It's easier for the big brands to actually go from print advertising on a bus that have spent a lot of money building a brand that way, but it isn't as effective anymore, and it's not the best bang for buck. And now, hey, listen, SEO's here. Oh, wow, okay, let's do SEO. And so transitioning from the old school marketing into what's in the present is a lot easier when they've got that brand in the real world. And actually, businesses will tell us, I had a coffee the other day, and they're like, our law practice is better than everyone that ranks on the first page for this keyword. We're bigger and we do it better. And then when you look at their backlink profile and you look at their SEO strategy, they look like they're a new kid on the block. So Google doesn't going to ring up and say, how big are you? How authoritative are you? And you actually may, in fact, actually be better. But if you're not telling the story, one channel or another in today's way we consume information, well, then you're just left behind. And so what Omega Digital should be, and it will be, is what we're after is how do we connect a brand and their story to their consumers? Whatever mediums that are, whatever's the best way to do that, that's where we'll go. Not just be too romantic about SEO, or be romantic about the Omega Digital, but actually be romantic about our clients and who they connect with. That's what we really, at the end of the day, that's what we're excited about and what we think about all the time. And so transitioning brands is incredible, and that's what we want to do. Build brands and then transition them into the next technology so they're with us and we're also doing the same thing. And so that sort of mindset, and I think that sort of approach and the exclusivity and the one-on-ones with our clients and the trust and the results at the end of the day are all there to see. So that's what we actually are looking to really, tell that story more. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you've got any questions, let me know. Put a comment in the section below. If you're watching on LinkedIn, hey man, give us a like and a comment. And if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a subscription. We'll appreciate it. A thumbs up and a comment, of course. And we'll see you in the next video.